All right, get ready because today we're going deep into human intelligence.
Versus artificial intelligence.
Yeah, exactly. We've got a philosophical essay by Joseph Aminian.
And a research paper about how we see AI. It's going to be a deep dive for sure.
So what's the plan for today?
Well, we'll be looking for the surprising connections between these sources
Oh.
and, exploring how human intelligence might actually be the key to a good future with AI.
I like the sound of that. Now, Aminian starts his essay with a question from his friend Davar.
Davar.
Yeah, who's a scholar and a polyglot. He speaks like a ton of languages.
Wow, a real Renaissance man.
Yeah. So anyway, his question really gets to the heart of the whole AI thing.
What did he ask?
He was thinking about how fast AI is developing,
Right.
And so he asked, if machines get smarter than us, will it even matter to understand what it means to be human?
That's a big question.
Yeah, kind of an existential crisis.
It is. And Aminian just jumps right in, starts exploring what makes us human, starts with our limitations.
Our limitations. But we've done so much. We've built empires and written symphonies. We even landed on the moon.
And yet we still see the world through our biology, our senses. Aminian gives this example of a decaying stone. Like, we might think it's alive because it changes, but it's really just entropy,
So you're saying our experience of the world isn't always objective reality.
Exactly.
That's kind of wild.
And Aminian says that recognizing these limitations is, super important for understanding what human intelligence even is.
Okay, I get that.
Yeah.
But if we're so flawed, how have we done so much as a species? What's the secret?
Okay, this is where it gets interesting.
Oh.
Aminian and the research paper both talk about this connection, the gut-brain axis.
Wait, the gut-brain, you mean like our stomachs? Are you saying our stomachs are involved in intelligence?
More than you'd think. Aminian is really into how gut feelings are more than metaphors. It's all about how our gut microbiome and our brain are connected.
Hold on. Are you saying all those times I had a bad feeling about something is my gut talking to me?
Kind of, yeah. The research paper really gets into the science of this.
Okay.
It turns out that the bacteria in our gut can actually affect our mood, stress levels, even how our brains work.
Wow, that's crazy. So we're not just brains. Our intelligence is connected to our whole body, even the bacteria in our gut.
Exactly. And this ties back to Aminian's point about limitations.
Okay.
He says that real learning starts when we realize we might be totally wrong about something.
So admitting we don't know everything is actually the first step? That's humbling.
It is, but it's also kind of freeing.
Okay.
Aminian says that it's powerful to ask why. Why do we believe what we believe?
Interesting.
Why do we feel the way we feel?
I'm seeing a theme here. Admitting our limitations, asking why, being open to being wrong. It sounds like Aminian is describing a whole new way of approaching knowledge.
He is. And that change is really important.
Okay.
Especially with all this AI stuff happening.
Yeah. Which brings us to that other big idea from both sources.
Right.
How we see human qualities in AI.
Anthropomorphizing.
Yeah. Like we give AI human qualities even when it doesn't have them.
It's like we can't help ourselves, projecting ourselves onto algorithms. We give it consciousness, emotions.
But we're social creatures. We look for patterns and meaning.
Of course. But that instinct can also cause fear. Like, if we see AI as competition,
Right.
then we might miss out on how AI could help us.
That's true. Aminian actually says we should see AI as a reflection of ourselves, almost like our children.
Interesting.
He even criticizes all the negativity around AI. He thinks we should focus on stories that empower both humans and AI.
That's a good point.
This Aminian guy's making me rethink things.
He's good at seeing the opportunity, in all the uncertainty.
Yeah.
And speaking of new ways of seeing things, the research paper talks about something really interesting.
What's that?
The possibility that AI could actually make us better people.
Seriously. How can talking to a machine make us better humans?
They talk about carryover effects. Basically, the way we interact with AI can change how we treat each other.
Hold on. So if I'm nice to a chatbot, I'll be nicer to people?
It's called the practice effect. But there's also the relief effect. Like, imagine you're frustrated and you just vent to a chatbot.
Right.
You might be less likely to snap at your coworker later.
Because you got it all out.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
And that's just one example of what the research is about, really groundbreaking stuff.
I'm a little overwhelmed. We've talked about gut bacteria being wrong and robots that can make us nicer. What's the main point so far?
I think the main point is perspective.
Perspective.
Both Aminian and the research paper want us to see AI not as a threat,
Right.
but as a reflection of us, something that can help us understand our own intelligence and potential.
So instead of being scared of the future, we should learn and grow alongside AI.
Exactly. And to do that, we need to ask tough questions, be open to being wrong,
Hmm.
and maybe even laugh at ourselves a little bit.
I think I can do that. We've covered a lot. Maybe we should take a break and then talk more about Aminian's ideas about humor and humility.
Okay, sounds good.
Let's do that.
Yeah, humor and humility, really important when it comes to AI.
Yeah, Aminian is really funny.
He is.
His writing isn't just like boring academic stuff.
Right.
He actually makes me laugh.
He uses humor to point out how silly we are, like how much we overthink things.
Speaking of overthinking, he talks about this thing called Schmecklehead personality disorder syndrome.
Ah, yes. It's a funny name for a serious idea.
Yeah, what is it exactly?
He's talking about people, often smart ones, who think they know everything, think they can control everything.
Like they have a god complex or something?
Exactly. But he's using humor to make a point. Aminian is saying we shouldn't be arrogant about AI.
We need to stay humble, especially with something as powerful as AI.
Right. Both Aminian and the research paper talk about that.
Okay.
We should approach AI with curiosity, with a willingness to learn.
And admit that we don't have all the answers.
Yes. So instead of trying to control AI, we should try to work with it.
Like a partner.
Exactly.
And this connects back to those carryover effects you mentioned.
It does.
If we're respectful and humble towards AI, maybe those qualities will carry over into our interactions with other people.
Maybe we'll create a better society because of it.
I like that idea. So it's not just how AI changes us, it's how we shape AI.
Yes, it's a two-way street.
Now, Aminian actually calls out some big names.
Really?
Yeah, like Jeffrey Hinton and Yuval Noah Harari.
Oh, wow.
He says they're too pessimistic about AI, focus too much on the risks.
What do you think about that?
Well, they have some good points.
Yeah.
AI could get out of control. But Aminian is saying that being negative can stop us from seeing all the good that AI could do.
Finding that balance is important.
Right. Seeing the risks, but still being optimistic.
Exactly. And that's where humor and humility are so important.
Yeah.
If we can laugh at ourselves and we don't know everything,
Right.
it opens up space for creativity, for working together on AI.
I'm seeing how all these ideas connect. But let's go back to that research paper.
Okay.
You mentioned carryover effects before.
Yeah.
Can you explain those a little more?
Sure. They talk about two types of carryover effects: relief and practice.
We talked about practice, like
Mhm.
practicing good social skills with a chatbot.
Right.
But what's the relief effect?
Relief is about using AI as an outlet for our emotions, things we might not feel comfortable sharing with another person.
Oh, got
So let's say you're stressed and you vent to a chatbot.
Right.
You might be less likely to yell at your family later.
That makes sense. AI can be like a buffer.
Exactly.
It helps us manage our emotions
Right.
so they don't affect our relationships.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like AI could make us more emotionally intelligent.
Exactly. That's just one example of how AI could be good for us socially. Imagine AI that helps us talk about difficult things
Wow.
or understand different points of view.
That's a great idea.
It could even help us connect with people from different cultures.
It sounds almost too good to be true.
It does, but it could happen if we're careful about how we design AI.
But doesn't this raise ethical questions too?
What do you mean?
Like if we use AI to help us with our emotions, aren't we giving up something that's human?
That's a good point. We need to be careful.
Yeah.
The goal isn't to replace human connection.
Right.
It's to use AI to make those connections stronger.
So it's about finding that balance again.
Yeah.
Using AI to help us,
Mhm.
not to replace us.
Exactly. And that means thinking about the ethics of AI, making sure it's used responsibly.
Aminian talks about being responsible creators of AI,
He does.
shaping its development to benefit everyone.
He makes a good analogy. Like parents raising their children. We wouldn't want to raise our kids in a violent or disrespectful environment.
Right.
So we shouldn't create AI that encourages those things.
That's a powerful way to think about it.
It is, and it all comes back to those carryover effects.
Yeah.
If we treat AI with respect and kindness, maybe those qualities will spread to our human interactions.
Okay, I get it. It's not human versus AI.
Right.
It's human and AI working together.
To build a better future.
Exactly. And to do that, we need to think about the stories we tell about AI.
The values we build into it.
Right.
The ways we choose to interact with it.
Because those choices will shape the world we create.
They will.
This has been a really amazing conversation. I feel like I understand AI in a whole new way.
I'm glad to hear that.
But before we finish up, I want to talk about one more thing.
Okay.
The idea of communicating with AI. Aminian talks about understanding the essence of AI, almost like it's another living being.
That's a big question.
Do you think that's even possible?
Well, as AI gets more advanced, it's getting better at understanding language and talking like humans.
Yeah, sometimes it's freaky how realistic it can be.
It can be.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder, is there something more going on there?
Like, if we can have real conversations with AI, learn from it, does that change the line between human and machine?
It does. We might have to redefine what intelligence even means.
This is mind-blowing. I feel like we're just scratching the surface.
We are, and that's what makes this topic so exciting.
We have to keep learning, keep asking questions.
Keep exploring.
So we've gone deep into human and artificial intelligence.
Yeah, we have.
What are the big takeaways? What should our listeners be thinking about?
Well, I think Aminian gives us a good way to think about all this.
Okay.
He says we need to recognize our limits as humans, be humble, and think about the stories we tell about AI.
And the research paper adds to that, right?
Yeah.
It says that how we interact with AI can affect how we treat each other.
The carryover effects,
Yeah.
it's all connected,
Yeah.
Technology and society. AI isn't just a tool, it can shape who we are.
We've talked about the risks of AI, but Aminian and the researchers are also optimistic, aren't they?
They are.
They're not just warning us about the dangers.
Right.
They think AI could actually make our lives better.
AI could help us with so many things, like climate change or curing diseases.
It could even help us make incredible art.
It could.
It sounds amazing.
It does.
But like we said, it all comes down to intention.
Being careful about how we design AI.
Choosing the right goals and putting safeguards in place.
Aminian talks about life-affirming AI.
What does that mean?
AI that helps humans thrive.
AI that brings people together,
Exactly.
that helps us reach our full potential.
It's a great vision.
Yeah, but how do we make it happen? What can we do to make sure AI is used for good?
We need to start by learning about AI,
Okay.
understanding what it can do, what it can't do.
And how it'll affect society.
Right. Talk about it, ask questions.
Be informed citizens?
Exactly. And it's not just about the technical stuff.
Okay.
We need to develop those human qualities that Aminian talks about.
Like humility and empathy.
Yes. And a willingness to learn and grow. Those will be really important.
So getting ready for AI means becoming better humans.
I think so.
More conscious, more connected to each other.
That's a great way to put it. The future of AI is the future of humanity.
And the choices we make today will determine what that future looks like.
I like that. It's not just about technology. It's about what we value.
Right.
It's about ethics.
And our vision for the future.
Yeah. Now, Aminian ends his essay with a really interesting question.
What's that?
He asks, what does the journey of self-awareness, growth, and holistic health look like for you?
A question for all of us to think about.
It makes us think about our own values.
Our goals.
And our role in this new world.
Because we're creating this future together.
It's both exciting and scary.
Right, it is.
Yeah.
But it means we have the power to make a difference.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Okay.
I want to leave our listeners with one last thought.
Okay.
We've talked about how AI can make us more empathetic and connected.
Right.
But maybe the real question is, how can we be those things right now?
In our own lives.
How can we be more compassionate to each other, more connected to our communities? The future depends on the choices we make today.
That's a powerful message. It is, isn't it? It was great talking about all this with you.
I enjoyed it too.
And to our listeners, thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
We hope you learned something.
We hope it made you think.
And that you're feeling hopeful about the future.
Keep exploring, keep asking questions, and let's create a future where both humans and AI can thrive.
That's a great goal.
Until next time.